Yeah.
Wow, amazing, incredible, insane. No, insane, awesome. Sorry. Insane is a good word for these days.
Yeah, yeah.
um, are you a member at TiE
So I'm
Kolkata?
a charter member at TiE. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. One of our members here is from Kolkata, Joy, and we will ask him to be in close contact with you. Oh, Einstein
Okay.
is with us. Hello, Mr. Einstein.
Hi guys. Hi everybody.
Hi,
Is it doing
Rohan.
good?
Very nice, very nice. Um, it's going to be fun, Alok. This is our second session, in fact,
Okay.
Abranila. It's our second session, and I'm very happy that we have a short presentation because the elevator pitch is just part of it. And the other part for those guests we have is a up-to-date presentation. So it's good you're in good shape, Alok.
Yeah. So I could not get time to do a lot to create a PPT. So maybe I will just present my points to
Sure,
everyone.
sure.
Yeah.
Yes, it will be 10 minutes, no more. And then we'll
Okay. Okay.
discuss. Don't
Yeah.
worry. I just want the elevator pitch to be the beginning, the exchange possibility, and we have sent your team members, I hope it was distributed by Apila, I think, Apranila, sorry for mispronouncing your name. And we will then, after the meeting, see if there are some relationships that can be built one by one, and then we will continue from there with profiles.
Yeah.
Plus,
Yeah.
we have designated a person, Joy, who is from Kolkata, to be the so-called ambassador for Kolkata if we are to continue our relationship and in half a year's time reunite again or so. But that's introduction.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm early. We have 2 more minutes. I'm waiting for other members to show up. Do you have, did you make it as a webinar, Abranila, or can we see how many have signed up already?
No, this is a meeting. This is not a webinar.
Okay, so that's great. So where can I see who is participating?
Mm.
All of them will be visible here once they join.
Okay.
So we have 8 participants, including ourselves.
Okay, we have 12 who have said they want to join. 2 of them have told me off, they cannot join. And we will have someone from Ajit, from the president from Cochin with us. We'll have Jinsep, someone joining us perhaps, and we'll have Kasturi from Frankfurt Rhine-Main. So these are the 3 guests we have.
Great. Great.
So we should be 10, 12 from our side. So we're about total of 20 to 22. My clock says 1 more minute. What does yours, Abranila?
Same here.
Yeah, same
We
here.
run
Okay. So far I see us 5.
10. So that total 10 participants as of now, including us.
Oh, I only see 5 pictures. Wait, let me
So
check.
so below it's
Yeah,
the
I see.
yeah,
Great,
yeah.
thank you. Alok, Oliver, Abhishek, very nice.
I've been living my life on Zoom for the last 30 days, so I know everything on Zoom.
How many sessions per day?
So I've done close to 25 plus webinars in last 30 days,
Wow, wow, great.
and then our team meeting. So every morning at 9:30 we do video conferencing team meeting, wherein I run a tax and legal firm.
I
So
see.
so from morning, everyone from the intern level to partner level, they need to have a video conferencing, and
Yes.
they need to speak in terms of what they have done yesterday, what they want to do today, and so Zoom is actually saving a life.
I thought Zoom was banned in India. That must be wrong then.
The Ministry of Home Affairs, they said that they gave an advisory that some of the security parameters of Zoom is not great. So if you use at your own risk,
I
but
see.
I think there are a lot of, I think government doesn't normally don't go and do advisory for these kind of apps. So there must be something more than what we can see.
I see. I see. Okay, we are 13 members as of now. I see some of our members. Ajit, hi, welcome. And Deepak, great to see you guys
Hi,
with
hi,
us.
David. Thank you. I'm here. I'm listening.
Yes, very nice. Deepak is our newest member joining us. Ajit from Cochin, whom I had the pleasure to meet. And then a perfect travel through Kerala. I'll never forget.
Yes, it was a great pleasure to have you as well, David. Enjoyed your company thoroughly, you and your wife. Hope
Thank you.
both of you are staying safe in Frankfurt.
Yes, we are. But as soon as possible, we'll be heading towards South India again. Next trip is with Dominic's company to Sri Lanka. I hope it works out well. Send
Very
regards.
good. Very good. Very good.
But are you able to book tickets?
We can book, but I will not until I know that we can enter India.
Yeah.
So as we speak, the government has just extended the lockdown to 17th of May.
17th of May. Okay. Well, the trip is at the end of the year. First, we want to visit Batumi in Georgia, where we have bought an apartment, but we need to make sure that we may land in Istanbul. Transfer is possible, I think, and then continue. We are now 16 members. Shall we start?
I think we can start. Yeah.
Okay.
Abhishek is also there.
Abhishek, hi. Okay, it's Abhishek and me who are now starting. I will just say 1-2 words, and then Abhishek, it's your turn, and then we'll introduce. We'll let our team members introduce themselves in 1-minute elevator pitches, which you should have on your agenda or beforehand as an Excel sheet. Welcome, everybody. Thank you very much for joining. This is an initiative that TiE Germany has with other chapters. This is our second such session where we are keen to get to know personally the members of other teams, both by voice and picture preferably. So whoever can also show us your beautiful selves. And the idea is to then see if there are any common interests and share them personally, whereas we will have designated a person from our team to be the so-called ambassador for the team in Kolkata. If you prove to be an interesting team for us, simple as that. And that is going to be Joy, because Joy is from Kolkata, and he will introduce himself very shortly. Abhishek, why don't you just say 2 words of greeting?
Thank you so much, everyone, for taking out time for this beautiful exchange program. When the times are great, as we say, these exchange programs become so complicated, because then you all have to start looking at your diaries, and we all have to looking at booking our tickets, and there are lots of logistical challenges. So I think one good thing that this whole COVID crisis has done is that brought us much more closer, and we are able to connect with each other just at a click of a button. We are doing this whole exchange program that would have otherwise taken a lot more logistical issues to be taken care of to get it organized. So it's all great. I think this is a blessing in disguise. I am really glad to have all of you here, and I think Calcutta chapter and Germany chapter can meet and exchange some of their contact details, some of their business details, and if there is some common interest, then through the respective chapter secretariats, we can connect with each other, and we can take our discussion offline, and we can have one-to-one discussion, and hopefully there will be some collaboration between members of both the chapters. Thank you so much, David, for being so persistent and taking this initiative. Really appreciate your efforts here.
Great. It was nice meeting you in person, also in Kolkata, just for everyone. We have met, Abhishek and I, at a very beautiful hotel, coffee shop in Chennai, and it was a great,
Not Chennai,
great,
Kolkata.
in Kolkata, sorry. Things confused. It was a great pleasure to meet you. I suggest we start with the elevator pitch, and I would like our members to start, and therefore, as first on the list, I will just say one or two words about my background, and then we continue from the list. I'm David Gower. I do not play cricket. I do not watch cricket. I do not like cricket. I am more into soccer. And I do have a company called Newform, which buys mica products from Giridi in Jharkhand and distributes worldwide for foundries in the electrical industry. Together with Jayant, I have an entity called Market Entry Facilitation Team. I will let Jayant say 2-3 words about it. All that it does is help Indian companies in Germany. Furthermore, I have the pleasure to be president of TiE Germany, and I really hope that we can grow. We are not so big now, about 20 members, but our goal is to grow and prosper, and then we can be part of the global family. Next on our list, I don't have it in front of me, so just someone else speak.
Right.
Okay, Jayant, go ahead.
Yeah. Hello. I'm
Speak.
Jayant Kirloskar.
Hi there. Hi, Jayant.
Hi.
Yeah.
I am from IIT Kharagpur. So
Oh.
naturally, I have a little more affinity for Kolkata. I have, in 1980s, while doing sales for Kirloskar, I visited Kolkata a lot of times. Now I have two companies, JK Correp for promoting electric motors of a company from Italy called Felm for various applications. And the second company is with David as my partner. We help Indian companies coming on business to Germany on long term, help them with down as also in finding customers, opening doors for them to the German marketplace. At the moment, we are helping one such company from Vadodara, which is in making of lubrication oil kits for turbo machinery, turbines, turbo pumps, turbo compressors, etc. Thank you.
Thank you, Jayant.
Please.
Joy.
Yeah.
Joy.
Oh, hello. Hi. Good evening, everyone. My name is Joy Samadar. I'm really glad and excited to meet all of you. As David just mentioned, so I am from Calcutta, to be precise, from the other side of the river, from Howrah, but I have been in Kolkata till I was 23 years old. I studied in Kolkata in Jadavpur University. So I'm really, that's why very much glad and excited to meet all of you. By education, I'm a chemical engineer, and right now working for oil and gas sector in a French multinational company, Air Liquide, in their German subsidiary. So, and this is my professional, you can say, background, but personally my passion and hobby is to work especially with students, young professionals, as a coach and trainer. So I'm also a co-founder and a coach and trainer in a coaching startup in Germany. So I really look forward to working with you in future more closely in these two segments, whether it's a chemical engineering, oil and gas, or be it coaching training. So really nice and glad to meet all of you.
Manjari, can you help, or Joy, can you help Burkhard get in? He is having problems. But go ahead now. Next on our list is Axel.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
So my name is Axel Angeli. From the profession, I'm a computer scientist, and I work mainly in the SAP space, doing project management. My main and bread and butter business is project rescue, bringing projects back to back on track. And in India, I'm working now for over 10 years as we call it brand ambassador for the Electronic Software Expert Promotion Council of the government of India, where I try to build relations between policymakers in Germany and in India, as well as building the ties between companies who want to do mutual businesses.
Wonderful, thank you. Manjari, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Manjari. I've just joined TiE as an institute. I'm not an entrepreneur. It's just my first stint with TiE. I'm just helping them out with administration as sending emails. I have left my job with the Indian consulate where I was working with the passport and the visa department. So right now it's just TiE for me. That's it.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Manjari. You're our interim ED. Oliver.
Hello, everybody. My name is Oliver Bernhardt. I'm in Frankfurt. I'm by profession a chartered accountant. I own a company called Benefit and Tax. So we mainly do financial compliance, tax consulting in the field of foreign entities doing business in Germany. I also do a lot of international tax consulting. I'm also the chairman of a practice group, International Taxation by GGI, which is the largest interdisciplinary network of chartered accountants and lawyers. And I happened to join TiE a couple of years ago, and I'm currently one of the vice presidents. Thank you.
Thank you too. Rohan.
Hi everybody, my name is Rohan Kapoor and I've been living in Germany for almost 10 years now. Originally, I'm from India. I studied in India and part of my studies in Germany. Since last 2 years, I'm running my companies back in India and in Germany with the focus on development of plant extracts in the field of pharmaceuticals, sports nutrition, and nutraceuticals. And we are also engaged in scaling up of products for patented products for European companies back in India. So that's it.
Burkhard.
Hi, everybody. Nice to meet you. I'm Burkhard Schleiter. I'm specialist for insurances. I'm CEO and owner of B plus M GmbH, and I'm headhunter for medical professionals.
Kurz und bündig in German, short and to the point. Mohan, is that our Mohan?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi. Good evening. My name is Mohan. I'm from Guntur, Andhra Pradesh. I'm here in Germany since 20 years now. Like started my career in Germany as an IT professional for 5 years, and I am entrepreneur since 15 years into IT consulting company and telecommunications in VoIP services, voice provider, VoIP provider those days. But right now into completely different sector, hospitality, running 2 restaurants and service apartments of 80 apartments. So mostly serving India from TCS, Infosys, or Hexaware, whatever Indian company you name, we have our clients. So yeah, that is to be precise. Thank you. Nice meeting you all.
Thank you, Mohan. Our Deepak, Germany, please.
Hello, good evening to all of you. I'm Dr. Deepak Pathare. Basically, electrical engineer. Worked with Larsen and from Mumbai. Worked with Larsen and Toubro, then Siemens, and then Shapoorji Pallonji. That was my last job as for 3 divisions of theirs as a CEO. Then I started off my own business in Germany as well as in Mumbai. But during the tenure of last 37 years, I was privileged to travel for the business in 70 different countries. And the specialty of my business comes from the Asia, Africa mainly, and the SAARC countries. So the point of having the establishment over here to help German companies to do the business development in African market or Asian market or the India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, etc. and for German companies to come over here and to find out the right partners for them, right, to do the joint ventures, to do the technical collaboration. That facilitation I am able to do from here. So that's my short introduction.
Okay, let us just give it Ajit. Oh, he has left. Okay, thank you, Deepak. Daniel, it's you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Daniel. I'm a patent and trademark attorney in Germany and in Europe. I'm also a partner at a law firm for intellectual property called Böhmert & Böhmert in Frankfurt. I counsel startups and small and medium-sized companies as well as international corporations on all matters of IP, especially patents, and especially in the field of software, medical devices, and physics. I have two close ties to India. First, my wife is Indian, and second, as a firm, we usually provide every January roadshow across India and provide seminars on intellectual property for small and medium-sized companies in big cities, which are usually well visited, like 30, 40, 50 people per seminar, which of course does not take place now. But we always try to have close connections with Indian companies. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Daniel. That sums up our team members. Now to your team, Abhishek.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your introductions. I'm sure I can already start connecting some possible dots. So I think there will be some interesting sparks within our members. So, maybe the way you started, I will just start with my own introduction. I am Abhishek Runta. Have been running a software engineering company for last 22 years. We specialize in product engineering for insurance and banking sector. And now I would request Deepak. Deepak is also our vice president in TiE. I would like Deepak to give his quick introduction for everyone. Deepak, you are on mute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Deepak Daftri, Vice President of TiE Kolkata. I do brand consulting. I deal in the high end of domain names. I buy and sell $1 million plus domain names in the international market. And I do brand consulting for some of the largest Fortune 500 companies for their digital branding. That's my brief intro.
Great.
Yes. Ravi, would you like to go next?
Yeah, I can go. Hi, I'm Ravi Dedwania. I'm into mining equipments for almost now 15 years. And we have worked with German companies like Siemens. Currently, we are working with a German company out of Friedrichshafen called MTU, which is, of course, part of Rolls-Royce UK.
Oh, wonderful. So you already have a German company here.
Yes,
we'll talk.
Yeah.
Guten Tag.
Good talk, and we will talk.
Yeah.
Hello, would you like to go next?
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Abhishek. So this is Alok Patia. I am a chartered accountant by qualification. I was with KPMG and Ernst & Young till 2010, and then I started my own venture, which is called Tax Mantra. We are a global tax and legal firm based out of Singapore and US. We do a lot of deal structure for startups and tech startups around India, Singapore, and US, and would love to explore some synergy in Germany as well.
And now can we have Abhishek Sengupta, if you would like to speak? Mute.
Abhishek.
Yeah.
Audible?
Yep.
Okay. Hello, I'm Abhishek Sengupta. Now, I'm from travel and hospitality background. From last 10 years, I'm running my own travel company and prior to we started as a partnership company in the year 2011, and we became a private limited company in the year 2000.
Gentlemen, please unmute your microphones. Please mute your microphone.
Go ahead, Abhishek.
Yeah.
All right. As I was talking, I run a tour operating company, which I started in the year 2011 as a partnership company. And year 2018, we have converted it into a private limited company. We specialize in in group tours, especially for the mice and all, guaranteed fixed departure, private tours, guided tours, self-driven tours, then different theme tours like Buddhist tour, like religious tours. Of course, historical tour is another of high demand. And of course, the wellness tour, I must say, wellness tour is really picking up. Especially, I think David was saying that he loved Ayurvedic tours in Kerala. So we also specialize in that.
Very
so
good.
you can visit our website, hoteltravelia.com. And if anyone interested in any way I can help any of you, I'll be glad. Thank you.
Excellent. Jitendra, would you like to go next, please? You're on mute, Jitendra.
Hi, this is Jitendra Botra from Calcutta, from Silverstone Overseas Private Limited. We are mainly into the imports for polymers and resins from last 15 years, from mainly from the Asian countries, and we have dealers and distributors networks across India.
Excuse me, Jitendra, we cannot hear you. There is some background noise. Those who are not speaking, unless it's David and Abhishek, should mute.
Should I repeat again?
Or is it your background, Abhishek, Jitendra?
I think it's his background.
So.
Tell them to shut up.
Should I repeat again?
Unless the background noise is gone.
I don't see any background noise at my end. Maybe other microphones are on, maybe some.
Okay, go ahead, Jitendra, repeat.
Yeah. Hi, this is Jitendra from Silverstone Overseas Private Limited, Calcutta. We are majorly into imports for the polymers and resin and the fishing equipment in India for last 15 years. So we are mainly distributors and dealers for various companies from Asian companies, from Taiwan, Malaysia, and China. And I'm associated with the TiE board for the last 3 years.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you.
Abhishek, who else? Anyone else from your side in Kolkata? Then we will come to our guest. I see that Kasturi has joined us. Kasturi, why don't you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, David. I'm really sorry. I was on some other calls prior to this one, so I could join in only 15 minutes late.
Better late than
my
never.
apologies for that. So yeah. Well, it's about 8:30, no, 8:45 now in India, and it's 1st of May, but I'm still working. But anyway, so I am actually based out of Frankfurt in Germany. I work for Frankfurt Rhine-Main, which is a government-funded agency. We work closely with international investors. And the whole idea is, and our entire objective is to make our regional more international, have more international investment in the region. We have several international offices in the US, UK, India, of course, China, and Japan. I am responsible for bringing in FDI from India and UK into the region. And just to give a brief idea of the region, I mean, we cover about 3 states in Germany. The state of Hessen, which is where Frankfurt am Main is, a part of Rhineland-Pfalz or Rhineland-Palatinate, which is slightly to the southwest of Germany, and a part of Bavaria. We have an office in India since 2012, so that's about 8 years. And over the last 8 years, we have facilitated around 500 inquiries from Indian potential investors who do have expansion plans to expand into the FRM region. So that's kind of my role. I facilitate these investments, or I'm the nodal point of contact in Frankfurt, and I have 2 colleagues in the Pune office who are the first point of contact for for Indian investors here. So we're part of several trade shows. We're part of, we work closely with NASCOM, with VDMA, with CII, with FICCI, a lot of multiplicators, and that's about it. I mean, I can go on and on, but I think
no, we
3
want
to 4
to
minutes
continue. Thank you,
should give a
Kasturi.
brief.
I
Thanks,
do see Nirmal on the list. Nirmal, hi, nice hearing from you. Please introduce yourself also.
Hey, hi, David. I'm sorry, I'm the only odd person in the group. I'm neither from Kolkata nor from Germany. My name is Nirmal. I head the TiE Kerala office. We are a small state at the tip of the country, very small, but very scenic. And David had been here a couple of times, I guess, as a tourist. I'm sure he enjoyed it. Yeah, yeah. Right. So I head the office here at TiE Kerala. I was very curious to know what is happening in terms of interaction between the two chapters in Germany and Kolkata, and that's why I joined. We are a rather old chapter. We started operations back in 2002. We got close to 80 charter members and around 600 associate members. Very active. We have actually won a couple of best chapter awards previously in 2018 and a couple of years before that. So we are pretty active in the TiE ecosystem. I'm glad to be here and be an observer rather to what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nirmal, for joining us. Have I forgotten anyone? Maybe
David, Somnath has just joined in. I think he was running a little late, so I would
Somnath, please
let him do his plug. Yeah, Somnath, yes. Go ahead with your elevator pitch.
Sorry to actually join in late. I was stuck into something, and so basically I am a entrepreneur who was having a services delivery platform. Right now, actually working on a HR recruitment service where actually it's basically skill based, where soft skills and hard skills are evaluated of people, and we identify actually where they could be more suitable in an organization, both internal as well as actually external identification. And we are actually working on this in a beta in locally over here, and plan to actually expand into Europe and areas where actually this is more acceptable right now. So that's what it is.
Great. Thank you very much. Maybe Abranila would like to introduce our host. Are you the ED of your chapter?
I'm the manager of the chapter, TiE Kolkata chapter here.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So it's great to organize this. And thank you, David, for connecting and following up and asking for details and guiding me through. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
And welcome all the members. It's great to have so many of you over here. So please carry on. I think we have some more members joining in. So
okay, we're 23 now. Ajit, the president of Kerala, had to leave, but he has listened into, and Nirmal is representing him. Akhila of Chennai, she did not manage to join us, as I see. And last time we had the session with Rajasthan, we had guests from New York, Darty, and we had the guests from, I forgot. But in any case, it's very interesting to share with some guests, and in future we will do, because as I've heard in a webinar yesterday, it is very important nowadays to triple or multiply the number of exchanges that you have with people that you want to do business with. So if this turns out to be a good meeting for some of us and some of you, I really hope that we will exchange again, perhaps in half year's time latest, and see what has happened in the meantime. But after this meeting, just for those who joined later, we will exchange a bit later than today some profiles of the members who are interested. But the Excel sheets, in any case, should be with you, and our list of your members is shorter than the number who have joined. So Abhishek, if you can, or Abranila, if you can complete that list, send it to Manjari, our ED will be very happy. Okay, The next point that we have now in the agenda is a presentation from Alok Patnia. Is that okay, or are there any questions in between?
I think we should go ahead with that.
Yes, please do. Alok, go ahead and give us our short 10 minutes, and then we'll open for discussion. Are you unmuting, Alok?
You are on mute, Alok.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Thanks for giving this opportunity to present the India outlook in terms of COVID-19. And it's a very difficult job to do because we are all living in a very different world, and in a world which no one knows what will happen, say after 2 weeks or 3 weeks. As we speak, some time back, the central government in India has just extended the lockdown to 17th of May. We are already having a lockdown of 40 plus days now, wherein the lot of impact on the economy, even though the lockdown seems to have worked very well in India, saving thousands and hundreds of life as we speak. So I was not able to do a detailed PPT because of paucity of time, but I will address points and discuss points, and then we can discuss anything on specific if there is something. So in terms of the impact on the Indian economy, the report suggests that only two countries will have positive growth this year. One is India and China. In terms of percentage, earlier it was forecasted that India will go around 5.4 to 5.8 percentage, but that has been reduced to maybe zero point 0.5 to 1 max. And uh, the sectors which are impacted most negatively seems to be automotive, power, IT, and tourism and uh, activities around it. I also want to address what's happening in terms of what's happening currently at this point of time and what is impacting the Indian economy as such, because because the supply is totally destructive in India at this point of time, and for most of our manufacturing and for most of the products, we are dependent on China for imports of raw material and intermediate materials. So that has really impacted India. In fact, today as we speak, Maruti is the largest automobile manufacturer in India. It's a joint venture between Maruti and Suzuki of Japan. And they have just announced that they had, for the first time in the history, they had zero sale in the month of April. Now that's unprecedented considering the growth in India. And so automotive as an industry has completely been disrupted, including the supply side. What has also impacted in the last 2 months or so is the demand around tourism and the uh, flight cost and those things. So consumer spending has changed, has taken a complete different behavior in terms of what is important, and we need to see whether this will continue. But the spend is mostly on what is essential in their mind, and the expense on items which are non-essential at this point of time is having massive hit. For instance, surprisingly, FMCG had the highest growth rate in a month for a year. In March and April, they were doing very well because most of the people were stocking food items and other essential items in the home because of the worry that this lockdown will continue for a longer period of time. Uh, I also wanted to stress on some of the specific sector, as I talked about automotive sector. And since automotive sector, we have a lot of dependency on the import for most of the products from China. And also the OEMs are massively impacted because there is no manufacturing which is happening, and because of the current lockdown. uh, we also want to discuss about, as I said, I have FMCG is one sector which has got positive impact as of now because of the behavioral change and because of the stocking. But we need to see till what time this will continue once the supply eases out. Uh, Tourism and hospitality is one sector which has been hit massively in India. So startups, small and medium sized businesses around tourism, around hospitality, talk about travel industry, talk about the all the apps which facilitate uh, tourism is massively hit. In fact, there is a report which says that most of the airlines will go bankrupt by end of June if the situation continues the way it is today. Uh, so anyway, tourism, the aviation industry was under pressure in India, and COVID has not helped it. So what are the things which government can do in terms of at this point of time currently, and what government is already trying is they're trying to ensure that there is a stock availability, so the essential goods are available in the market. uh, Till this point of time, India has done very well in terms of managing the supply side of the essential products, even though we were under the lockdown for the last 45 days. uh, the government has also worked very well in terms of uh, to see whether they can use this opportunity to explore more make in India and manufacturing in India. The medical equipment, I was hearing to the announcement by government today that most of the medical equipment they are trying to manufacture in India for the COVID, which will be used. The government is also trying to facilitate e-commerce at this point of time, because e-commerce, as we speak, will only increase with brick and mortar and small store, because we don't know by when malls and other stores will open in India. So e-commerce is one sector which will really boom post. There will be some ease in terms of lockdown, and I think in India, logistic as an industry will really grow, because the government has understood, even the the logistic industry has understood that really need to put in a lot of infrastructure and capital to boost the logistics sector as such. Healthcare, for the first time, we see that there is so much of focus on the healthcare, mostly in the government healthcare and hospitals. There is a talk about upgrading the healthcare facilities, mostly in the government hospitals. And there's a lot of opportunity for small and medium-sized businesses, be it into manufacturing, be it into services for healthcare, because government seems to be very serious in taking India's healthcare infrastructure at least at par with other countries. Because the government has got the real shock, and to see what can happen if there is a disaster and they have to completely depend on the infrastructure, the healthcare infrastructure which India had. The government is also trying to boost non-urban consumption, because as we speak, most of the urban cities, most of the metro cities will be under lockdown for a considerable period of time. So government is trying to see what can they do to boost non-urban consumption. And maybe there is always a challenge in India wherein millions of people migrate from rural and from villages to larger cities for search of work. But maybe is this the opportunity wherein some of the people who have returned back or have started going back will find something in rural India, and will stay there. So that is something which we need to see. Uh, in terms of monetary stimulus, government and the RBI has brought in a lot of liquidity measure. As we speak, they have deferred some of the loan payments for some of the loan payments. They have also brought in a lot of bonds which banks can buy from RBI, and then lend it to businesses. But on a
Das
practical
Bild
approach.
verloren bei Zoom. Ich sehe nur den, der spricht, du sprichst.
So that is something which we need to see whether the government is able to help businesses on the fiscal front. We expect that early next week the government will come up with a big bang fiscal stimulus for small and medium-sized businesses in India. Let me now focus on startups in particular and how COVID-19 has impacted startups in India. Just to give you a background, India pre-COVID-19, India was third largest ecosystem for successful startups, next only to China and US. And there was already talk about next unicorn and next big bang funding. But at the current situation wherein we are today, startups are hit massively. And when you talk about startups in the initial stage, so startups who have just started operations, or startup who have raised angel fund or have not raised funding yet, they are hit most, and there is no one to support them. Reason being is that banks mostly supports businesses who are profitable, and if they have not raised funds, uh, the they they will not be able to raise funds. It will be very difficult for them to raise funds at the current scenario. So startups, uh, and if I quote you some numbers in terms of the startup situation in India. So if we say micro company wherein the employees are less than 10, 89.7% of total startups are in that category, and close to 10 million people in India work in those startups. And most of those startups are not funded. They are not being supported by government policies. They are not being supported by banks. And the next category is up to 50 employees. So these two categories are really vulnerable in terms of the impact of COVID-19 on those startups. And we see that there is a report which suggests that 25 to 30% of startups and MSME might close down in next 3 months if government doesn't support those startups and MSMEs and SMEs. So I think with this, I want to summarize. But the positive point for Indian economy at this point of time is that we have been able to control the explode of COVID-19 in India. The health infrastructure has hold it at this point of time, and if we are able to come out of this in next 2 to 3 weeks, because there is a lot of talk about manufacturing companies and facilities shifting from China to India. There is also some of the action happening on those front. So if we are able to do those things, India might become the focal point in coming years for the next manufacturing hub, and also the as an economy. So I think so we are very hopeful that we will open soon and we will come out of this situation, and India will will only become more stronger as we suggest. I think with these words I end my talk. Thanks for giving me this opportunity, David, Abhishek, and everyone. I think we can continue with the next agenda now.
Well, thank you very much, Alok. Great presentation. I do think there are some questions to you, and may I start with one? What is your suggestion for startups at the current situation? I did hear in the webinar yesterday to also manage to do some cash flow by offering the customers to pay in installments, by talking to the suppliers how to be able to purchase on easier terms. But what is your other suggestions for startups in the current scenario, as you say?
David, one of the things which startups can do, especially tech startups, is to see how.
God. Can anyone else hear him?
No.
Alok, can you hear us? Alok, we cannot hear you. Try to reconnect. Meanwhile, does anyone else? Alok, are you with us again?
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry. So what I'm saying is that one of the things which startups can do, especially the tech startup, is to ensure that they are able to leverage on their current fixed expenses and their current manpower, in the sense that they may not have enough work and their employees may be sitting at home, so they can talk to other companies, large companies, to see whether they can pick up small projects. That is one part. Second part is in terms of understanding and talking to their current investors to see whether they can raise some debt at this point of time from the current investors, because the current investors are as worried about your business and they want your business to succeed as you. uh, so that's the second point which they can do. In fact, I suggest that startups should talk to their investors on a weekly basis to understand where they are and they are on the same page. I think the third thing which they can do, if they are profitable and if they have some history of their finance, is to talk to banks, because there are some policies which are there with banks in India. So there is a very easy GST loan, wherein if you have been filing your GST returns very regularly, you can go and based on your GST return, you can go for some loan. Fourth point, you rightly said about managing working capital and managing other expenses. Uh, Also talking to your employees, reducing your non-essential expenses, uh, trying to add service or product which you can do without incurring any capital expenditure. For instance, we have one of the startups. They were into food delivery, so they had their own kitchen and they were doing food delivery through their own kitchen. Now they had the logistics, they had the supply chain, they had the vendors, they have added the essential grocery supply also to ensure that the liquidity remains. So I think these 4 5 things which I think startups can do at this point of time, uh, they should not be very hopeful to raise new funding from new set of investors. I mean, that is something which is ruled out at this point of time. As I was talking to one of the VC investors, and he said that a startup, if he is able to survive and if he's still alive on 1st of April 2021, then I may be interested. So you are on your own till 31st of March 2021. So I think,
wow.
but there are some startups in productivity tools, in virtual tools, in gaming, in healthcare. They have those are some silver lining, wherein they are still able to attract investors and raise capital.
Thank you very much, Alok. In times of crisis is when the idols of the future are born. So we should be
I
thinking
completely
positive.
agree with you. I completely agree with you.
What do we have? Questions?
David, I'm not a question, rather a comment and the feeling I was having just to share with all of you. First of all, thanks, Alok, for your presentation. And I'm a very avid reader of behavioral economics and behavioral psychology, and I think like 9/11, it's such an instance in our such a moment in our life. So I think the world will never be the same again, right? So it is going to be a totally different world. So although you mentioned that we hope, of course, we hope things will back to normal, but everybody is talking about a new normal, and I feel what I'm feeling right now is that everybody, it's kind of also the world or the earth is resetting itself, be it in terms of pollution or also in terms of globalization. If you see how the economy has been working, how we have been moving from one part of the world to the another. So I think it's we have pressed a big reset button, and what I feel, it's kind of a anti-globalization, not in a political sense I'm saying, but I think we have to think very locally now, simple ideas, and in terms of supply chain, what we can do locally instead of relying on very worldwide supply chain. We have to think how, what I need, what some people need locally at my place. For example, I'm now in Frankfurt, and I know some people in Kolkata or Delhi. So what are the people locally needing, and how we can help them locally with local available ideas, local available supplies. and then maybe that will be the new normal. I feel that instead of thinking big things or what governments are doing, of course we hope they do what they can do at the banks, but as an individual, I think that will be the new kind of world, that we have to think very locally and within our own limitation.
Yeah,
I agree.
Joe, I just want to add one point. So there is a saying which says that if you do something for 21 days, that habit stays with you. We are already in the lockdown for 40 days. I hope that some of the good things stays with us. For example, I suddenly realized that there was no need to travel so much to meet people. We can actually meet and greet on Zoom and do a lot of work. So yes, it will be a very different world, uh, a different world wherein we will be very very particular about few of the things. And you rightly said that localization maybe something which will have more focus. But let's see. I mean,
Yeah,
we all are
no
very
one knows exactly. Let's see. Yeah,
yeah.
totally agree.
However, the exchange that we are having face to face is also important. We can get some impression of the gestures, and I think we will also have to return to that, which is so important for TiE, as I discussed with Oliver before this meeting, to see and get to know people from other places. We have been visiting TGS4. We are really looking forward for TGS5 at the end of this year in Dubai. I really hope it will take place. And then to meet some of you physically is also very, very important. Any other questions from anyone?
Not so much a question,
Andrew,
just a comment. Very important point, which you just mentioned, what you do for 21 days stays with you, and it's about making, getting new habits. But I attended a couple of TiE webinars in the recent past, and the one thing which was in these webinars quite frequent is what startups can do, especially in these times. And yes, your current business may be down, but it's also a good opportunity to think about new routes and new ideas, to come up with new business models, to sit down in your office at home and think about new things and new technology ideas and so on. So actually, many startups and many companies now create during this lockdown the business of a time when the world reopens, and so it's actually a time to be active and to secure the ideas and the concepts for your business when the world reopens. And I think it's very important, this aspect. So maybe after this crisis, we see many new kinds of technologies and business models coming up, because the people, instead of doing all the time what they have been doing for several years, start thinking about what they can change, and maybe it's a very creative time actually.
Very true, Daniel. Thank you very much. Kasturi wanted to say a question.
Well, I wanted to exactly add to what Daniel was saying, and that's exactly what I reiterate, that we had a webinar yesterday, and we realized that a lot of people still want to expand. The expansion plans are on. The crisis has, of course, made a huge, deep impact on businesses all over the world. There's no doubt about it. But there are also clear winners. I mean, you will see a rise or a surge in e-commerce. You will see a rise in investment, in the investment areas as well, because a lot of people will want to borrow more money. So the banks are doing, or the financial investment institutions are doing quite well. But at the end of the day, as Daniel said, and I want to say that, repeat that again, that it's important that newer and more creative strategies are put in place so that we can survive in this new normal. I think startups is a brilliant concept, because it harbors and it supports creativity, it supports innovation, it supports even frugal innovation. So from that point of view, the startup as a sector will not die. Just how it re-evolves and how it re-innovates itself is something that we have to watch out for. And with that, I think I really kind of just push what Daniel is saying further. So
very good,
yeah.
Kasturi. Thank you.
Kasturi,
Deepak, I thought you had a question.
Yep. I wanted to sorry.
Deepak, can I ask something?
Ravi, only if you show us your face.
Oh yeah, sorry. I didn't realize. Yeah. So how are things in Germany? Are the factories opening up, or people are working? Because we depend a lot of imports from Germany. And of course, we have started getting some consignment, but how are things in general over there in terms of factory and production?
Deepak, is it okay? We can short answer to that first.
Yeah, sure, please go ahead.
Who wants to speak besides me?
I
I can say it.
Yes.
I can also add, but you guys add. So
go ahead, Kasturi. Go ahead.
Right. So basically, what is important to know is that the supply chain, logistics chain, and the logistics firms are doing really well during this time, because right now the crucial idea is to get essential services to your doorstep. So anything to do with e-commerce is doing extremely well in Germany. When it comes to automotive, I think the whole world is facing an automotive recession. So of course, those factories are not working. The production is not started there. But at the same time, I read that I just have to kind of reframe that. Companies which are in the production of, let's say, ventilators or air conditioners have now changed productions to healthcare facilities, something that you could a machine or something that can be fit into the hospital, especially to test further. So, production has not stopped entirely, not pan sectors, but they have shifted production. So companies which can reproduce something that is not available or that cannot be imported from China at this particular point. So apart from that, of course, the society is slowly opening up. If you've been following what the Chancellor Merkel has been giving in her press briefings, you know that it's not as they are kind of slowly opening up. But I think, David, you are there, so you can speak more on that. I can speak more for the industry. Yeah.
Ravi, for your purposes, logistics, I'm being supplied from India. Harbor Kolkata has reopened last week, so merchandise goes from Kolkata via Singapore to Germany. It works. If you do need help, I have a very good forwarder. I'll gladly share with you. As far as other industries, the automotive industry has reopened this week, so we do feel some ease. But still, we are afraid. In Germany, we are very stringent, and that's why we are relatively successful. We were very bad in terms of infected persons. Now we are standing fairly well because of Chancellor Merkel's precautions and followed by the very disciplined German public. Anyone else wants to say to this?
Yeah, maybe I can add something, because Jane and me, we have recently attended a webinar of CII and BDE where we compared the different situations in India and Germany. Regarding India, they said that about only 1/3 of the industry or business was still operational. In Germany, the fraction was much higher, has been much higher throughout the crisis. So there was, of course, some of the businesses had to shut down, like restaurants, tourism, and so on, and where you cannot keep distance between the people. But most of the factories, if they had business, they could operate normally. But of course, car industry, they just didn't have any business, so they shut down, but reopened, as David said, on a very small scale. They actually changed the factories to producing masks and other equipment to help out a society, and so we're not so much dependent on China on masks. And now the general strategy in Germany seems to reopen the society on all levels, slowly but continuously. Schools are starting, daycare will start the last, but businesses are starting slowly. Shops are starting. So there was been basically a lockdown of 1 month, which was not as serious as in India in terms of effects in business. So there was more operational, but now we are quickly open again, because I mean the situation is of course much different. Here the people are not, the density of people is not comparable to India and so on. So we can reopen now. But yeah, we don't know if there is a second wave. I've just seen statistics from the Spanish flu at the beginning of the 20th century, where there was after 4 months a second wave, and then after another 4 months a third wave. So, and the second wave was even higher than the first wave. So we also don't know, we have no clue if what we are doing now is actually right or wrong, but the numbers are low and people want to have business again, and the kids should go to school and so on. So there's just public pressure that we reopen slowly now.
Thank you, Daniel. We are just about to close, but I want to give Deepak the chance to ask his question if it's still there.
No, I just wanted to add to what Daniel said and what Kasturi said, that in times of distress, there's always an opportunity in distress. So as the presentation mentioned, I wanted to highlight a few key facts in the startup world in India. Given that the current scenario, a lot of startups will die down who are Me Too's, but at the same time, there's a resurgence of startups who are totally radical in their approach in terms of technology or in terms of disrupting the existing setup of startups that we have. To give you an example, India in the next 1 year is going to see a resurgence or a new wave of neo-banking setups, wherein there'll be banks which will have no physical presence, and there are already people who are setting up these kinds of banks in participation with the traditional ones. So there is going to be innovation, there is innovation, and there are going to be more innovations even in the finance space, even though everybody is painting a gloom and doom picture that once we open up, there's going to be a lot of gloom and doom. But at the same time, there are going to be innovations, there are going to be changes which are going to radically change the way we have been doing business and the way we will do business. So every distressing situation does have a green shoot to it. So yeah, life will go on and things will move on.
The optimist sees in each problem a chance, the pessimist in each chance a problem.
True.
Thank you very much, Deepak. Please, closing words from Abhishek, and then we're overdue.
David,
I think Jayant wants
just one small. I just want to add something before your closing remarks, if it's okay with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just for everybody's benefit, I attended a seminar by Shiv Khera, promotional, motivational speaker, and a very famous writer from India. That was arranged by TiE Hubli yesterday. And yes, there were very interesting things he talked about. It was a very long seminar. I just wanted to share a thought before we go away. The thought he said was that all of us were in fast lane all this time, probably for several years. And suddenly a pause button has been pressed, and every one of us has time. We may not have many other things, but we have time. And how we make use of this time is going to decide who will come out as winners and who will be left behind as losers. And he said the important thing is to come up as more knowledgeable, come up as more upskilled, and come up as more healthy after the lockdown is over. And that I thought was a very powerful thought which he gave. And we can all, I mean, most of you, many of you may be already working on these things, but this is something we can think about. Time is very much available to all of us at this time.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jayan. Abhishek, I'll leave it to you to say some closing words.
Thank you, David. So yes, I think, there is a lot of social, economical change that's going to go around us. And I think all of us need to kind of keep a very close eye on these changes and make our own deductions. A lot of times we get too flowed down by what we are hearing from different people and what we are reading, and lots of reports that come out from the best and best of the consulting firms and advisory firms. But I think there is no replacement of our own observation, because our ability to a lot of times we underestimate our ability to observe, our ability to understand, our ability to react, because we are possibly the best people to understand our circumstances and how things work in it. and see things firsthand near us, because any of these predictions and lofty comments are very generic in nature, right? And it is around the whole world, right? So a lot of times people are saying the whole world will change forever. It may not. After 1918 flu, what has changed? Maybe things have changed for a few years and then it has come back to normal, right? So we should not try to just listen and accept anything and everything, even if the best person that you respect the most is talking about it. I would say that we should, use our own observation to deduct and act on it. And that's why, again, I may be the guilty of it, that I am trying to shut myself off from lots of noise that's coming from outside. And I would not ask you to do so, but I would just say that, keep your sensory antennas on rather than just listen in and soak in, external advice and act on it.
Well
Right.
said.
In the contrary, Abhishek, we should raise our voices as we do now in this exchange, which I found very, very fruitful mutually. And I really thank you very much. I see Daniel wants to say some words.
No,
so
no,
go ahead.
I'm fine. No,
You're
I'm
fine.
fine.
Everybody, thank you. We have exceeded by 6 minutes. I ask for apologize, but that's because we like to talk. Take care and hope to see you again, Abhishek, and we'll stay in touch with each other. We'll send you some remarks per email to distribute in your team.
Sure.
Thank you, guests, for being with us.
Thank you so much. Thanks, David.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.